Welcome to the part of our service on Shabbat Emor, where we share what we have heard. Today we heard our Rabbi discussing so many things. I've listened to it before, and each time I hear it, I learn more. You know, it's interesting that one of the things that I realized is when Yeshua said, when he was asked how to sum up the 10 Commandments, he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your might, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. He was always referring us back to the Torah. And here in Vayikra, Leviticus 19, it said, love your neighbor as yourself. So he wasn't making up something new. He was just repeating Torah. And he was always trying to show us the difference between what man makes up and what God gave us. And I was thinking, like, what is a God and what is God? It's impossible for us to explain God. It's because we are, as Rabbi said, we are temporal. We're temporary beings. And yet at the same time, we have a dual nature where we have this spark of life that was given to us by the eternal. So we have a touch of the eternal within us, but it's still very difficult for us living in this world to understand what God is. And yet we as people, we always need explanations. We want definitions. We want to know, we want everything explained. We love to live in a box where we know the rules, we know what we need to do, but that's not what God wants from us. So we make up our own gods, ones that we can define, ones that we can see, ones that we can hold on to, even to the point that we ourselves become God, which is what tempted Eve. You too shall be like God. So, but we have to constantly remember, you know, sometimes I get very hard on myself. And then I remember to always, what does the Torah say? Torah said, Aaron, who was such a fallible human being, he made so many mistakes, and yet God used him in a very, very important position, the priesthood, which we all are. We're part of a priesthood. God, and Rabbi said that we receive messages which we bring to others, and the Torah gives us these messages which we give to others. We are the link between everybody around us, between our friends and our family, our neighbors, our people we work with. We are that link between them and God. And it's a very, very, very difficult responsibility, very huge responsibility. And sometimes it becomes a great burden. Boy, there were so many things in this message. One of the things I remembered as Rabbi was speaking about our dual nature, both temporal and eternal. I remember when I first turned back to God, became a believer, someone said to me, you have now stepped into eternity. And when I thought of that, it was like, poof, it's like a whole revelation of how I don't have to see life in the same way anymore, because even though this body is temporal, I'm going to live on forever. And what else did I see in this? Yeah, the 3 pilgrim festivals he spoke about, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, which were the agricultural festivals, speak about, again, the dual nature. It's agriculture. It's how we live on this earth, how we give thanks to God to help us sustain this physicality that we're in, the physical. And yet the other two, Yom Teruah and Yom Kippurim, they represent the eternal aspect. So everything is a dual nature. I think Miriam can understand that more than anything, because we always tease her about her own dual nature, which is always in opposition to to each other. Always one is out there, the other is inside. Always like 2 horses pulling against each other.
I'm learning to integrate the two.
That's the best thing to do. So did anybody else receive something or get something out of this message from the Rabbi today?
I think you said everything. I was, well, you pretty much covered it all in your commentary, but I always love, I mean, you could say I understand the duality, but I think everyone has to deal with it, whether they are faced as whatever, in whichever way they're faced with that. You know, it's a balancing act, and as you grow and develop, get closer to God and make a peace with your own self and your own life, it's not such a defined duality. You know, like everything you do is for God in a way. Like in that simple way, that aspect of Judaism or any of the religions are similar. Like, you know, in Buddhism, it says when you bring somebody a cup of water, when you do anything, you're doing it in a sanctified sense. It's a spiritual act. Everything is in that way. So the material and the spiritual really flow much easier when the closer you get to God and to who you are. It's a daily life. The simple thing is treating somebody you meet on the street. I'm going through something now. That's one of the reasons why I'm sorry I came late in the responsive readings. I was hearing the booming of music outside across from me, and I was just frazzled, and then whatever, I have to deal with that in a way. In the old days, I would just be swearing and run out the building and yell and swearing, and now I have to deal with it in a more civil way.
Yeah, it's amazing how in every situation in our lives, we can refer back to the Torah. I had a week also this week. I was very frazzled. There was so much that I had to do when I came back, apart from the things in the congregation, just to prepare for the month, to prepare the readings, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. All taking, running to take care of Mildred, meeting with the social worker, meeting with the physiotherapist, getting her what she needs, finding somebody new. Well, when Lilia's gone, and I became absolutely I was so upset with how upset I was getting, because it was just felt like it was too much. And then I remembered, look at Aaron. Aaron failed so many times, and yet God gave him a position of, that was so important in Israel. So I just have to realize that we are just frail human beings. We're going to fail, and the Torah will always help us and guide us and help us to start again. Like it says, God is a God of beginning again, which is why I love what the rabbi said. Now, Mauricio, I know you always have things to bring that are something that we don't see. What do you have to share about this week's portion, Emor?
Well, in this portion, Emor is interesting that that to your position, it's about how is your position. You need to use the garments. And the first part of this portion is talking about how the Kohen Gadol and all the priesthood needs to take care of themselves, and that means no touching dead corpses, bodies, because it's because God is God of living, and because of that they have to take care about his own, and it's very hard to see this portion talking about that you have to avoid to have, for example, if you have a very good friend and he died, and then you don't have to bury him because you can contaminate yourself to this person. So it's a great responsibility, but sometimes God requests us to be that our behavior and our actions goes beyond our brain,
Our
logic,
understanding.
my understanding. Yes, and this is sometimes that is hard from Torah, and that's why we should keep His commandments. Uh, and it's hard for the person that are out of these believings to understand. They believe we are oppressed, but we are not. And
So
that's why,
if you are you taking that literally? Like today for us, we cannot go to bury a friend? I don't understand.
no, obviously we can, because we are not Levites, we are not priesthoods, obviously. But I'm telling, according to what is written there, okay, for this person, for this Kohen Gadol, he cannot go to bury these persons. And we can say, why?
Why exactly? It's not he's not going to catch anything from him.
Yeah, but the point is that he was, according to this portion, he was anointing with oil, okay, and now he has a position before all the persons and before God, and God is a God of livings, not God of death. So he cannot touch these bodies or be close to a dead body. And now, but there is an exemption also. There is a commandment about, okay, if you see someone body on the desert or in wherever area, and he is alone, nobody could bury him to give because he lives alone. I don't know. Then you have to take this body, contaminate yourself, and then go to a mikveh to 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 to, uh, to sanctify you again. And, and it's hard because for us, culturally and in our understanding today, what can give you a dead body? I mean, nothing, right? But this is just a hukim, a commandment which we cannot start to ask why. Just do it.
Maybe it's also because of many religions and sects and cults. They make a lot of ceremony about the dead. They worship the dead. They bury them. They exalt death, and maybe that's another way. Especially at that time, maybe it's not as much now, but at that time they were surrounded by pagan cultures that had all sorts of rituals connected with death and dying and burial. So maybe it's similar to the whole kosher thing. You have to separate yourself from the pagan practices.
Yes, but you know, it's something that also I will say, I don't have the word exactly to use, but it's like killing your feelings, okay, like control your feelings, because most of us, when we are close to a very close friend or very close relative and he's there, we start to cry, we start, and there is some person that they broke completely, okay. It's like, okay, I don't want to expose you, but for me, honestly, the point is God is God of living, and He doesn't want to be related with death. That's it. But it's very hard. It's a hukim, because we have to find out why. Uh, for me, it's a nonsense, but for me, it's not logic. Why at this moment? Probably in the future I will get the answer, but honestly, everything related to death, okay, for God is contamination. For example, the woman when is in her period is contaminated because the fluids of blood out of her body is death, is right, is the same with male. The man um, who has a sexual relation, and then he had a stimulation, and then he is contaminated because there are cells that get out from him that will die. So it's something like for God is very important to have relationship with living, and probably that's why Yeshua said the God is not a God of death, but God of living. Okay, because he needs to that he has life.
So these are all pictures of that to show us
Yes.
that he's the God of the living. It's not that it's almost like a hoax. It's like it's not like those things actually cause you to be dirty or it's more of the picture of it. It's not a physical thing. It's more on a spiritual level.
Yes, and that's the point. That God wants that we bring life. Okay?
Choose life. Always choose life. Yes.
Always choose life.
Yeah.
Why? Because I am life.
Right.
So that's what we need to project to the world.
Right.
Okay, life.
Right.
And our actions must be related to life.
Right. Yeah.
So,
beautiful.
So, and this is how we understand, for example, the parable of this Samaritan that is great, that supposedly Yeshua taught, right? Because he said first came a Levite, and he saw this person who is very bonded on the desert, and they just passed, and they didn't do nothing. Then came a priest, and the priest also, he saw the person. I don't know if he knew he was dead or not, but both of them didn't want to contaminate themselves.
Right.
And then comes a Samaritan and saw this person, and he picked him up, and then he paid for his recovery, and then he started to ask, okay, what is more important? Okay, which action is more? And you know, it's for them at that time. Yeshua is breaking their mind. Okay, honestly, because the Torah says you cannot contaminate with dead body, but this person was not dead. Okay, probably they were afraid to carry this person and die at the time between the desert and the hospital or the place he had to recover. So and the teaching here is what is more important than, okay, to take care of the persons,
the intention of our hearts,
the intention of our hearts.
Yeah. If I look at it, Israel was meant to be a nation of priests. We were to be a priest to the world, to all the nations. And when we failed with the golden calf, then God took one specific person, Aaron, out of just like he took us out of the nations, he then took one person out of the nation of Israel and began the priesthood. But now can we say that those of us who have come back to God, we then become the priesthood? That all these things are a picture as well for us in how to live?
Yeah, it's a picture for us to live. I mean, um, to bring life with our actions. Okay?
Right,
So
right.
choose life. Okay.
Yeah,
And try to not contaminate ourselves with death. But death is not really a dead person. I mean, death we can understand as many things today. Okay. For example, when you hurt a person in such a way that this person was killed in his heart, for example, so you kill that person. I mean, you brought death to this person. For example, if you, uh, I can't remember right now, but I remember once I was driving on a car, and then my wife saw a woman punish her daughter at the street in such way that we need to stop the car and come back to tell the woman, stop. What you are doing is killing your daughter. And then when the woman saw us, she just stopped. So if we look this little girl in a future time, probably this action of this woman is destroying her personality, is bringing death to this person.
yeah. That's what the last 5 commandments really are about. If you look at them, murder is to murder the person, the physical person. But if you look at the 9th commandment, which it says, don't speak, don't like no lashon hara, don't break down the character, don't kill the character of another person to someone else. When you covet, it's almost like you want something so badly from that person, you're willing to kill them to get it. Everything has to do with death. The last 5, those last commandments. When we adulterate anything, we commit adultery, we're killing the marriage. We're killing, we adulterate even somebody's words. We're killing what that person is saying. And what was the other one? Do not be jealous. Do not be, pardon?
No.
Yeah,
Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. When
steal.
you
You're
steal, is the
exactly.
thing you can break the confidence in one person.
Exactly. Yeah. So it all has to do with that. Yes, Brian.
That person today make a sarana to me in front of the new worker. And all I'm doing is telling the new worker that she has a blue and white cup. She's going crazy. She's 10 and 9th and 10th command she's breaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have to show her a different way. She doesn't know. That's why God put you there, to be a light in your home.
Trying to be a light, but this person is past the light.
Yeah. Well, you have to continue no matter what. It's not not an easy job for us to carry the light. Yeshua said, don't put your light under a barrel, a bushel. Let your light shine so that everyone can see it, to glorify our Father who is in heaven. And that's really important.
Doesn't like, I'm trying to be a good Samaritan, because when you read the story, the so-called like her Jewish people, they walked by and the guy needed help and she don't help.
Yeah.
She says she's a good cook. Well, show me you're a good cook. Cook for us.
Yeah, well, she's very damaged. You remember, you're dealing with people who have a lot of emotional illness.
No.
And that's why God put you into that place, so that you could be a light a light to them. So don't ever stoop to their level, although it's something that we would want to do. When someone hurts us, it's not automatically that we want to hurt back, but that's not what God wants from us. And that's a challenge that we have on a daily basis.
And, I kind of like that. There's a new worker. So I just asked her to make the sandwich for tonight. Because the microwave doesn't have a 30-second, you have to put a minute. So if it's a minute, you have to watch the countdown and then take it out after 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're there. You'll help. You'll help the new person. So
Yes.
you're on mute, Mauricio.
Want to add something. Okay.
Your Wi-Fi is very bad. We can't hear you.
Still on mute.
Yeah, something happened. He got kicked out. Oh boy. Anyway, well, I think what we'll do is we'll let's continue to pray for each other, pray for ourselves. Let's, if you have ideas about Shavuot, we're going to put a short Shavuot service together on the Thursday night. And
It's coming Thursday?
it's no, the 25th.
25th.
25th of May. It's a time of rejoicing. It's a time, actually, it's even a time to bring extra offerings into the community. Bring extra blintzes. It's oh, here's Mauricio again. Okay.
Still on mute.
Came back. Yeah, your Wi-Fi is having
I'm
trouble.
sorry. I gotta turn off the camera.
Yeah, so you get a better
but
Wi-Fi.
okay. Now it's just to what I'm telling you. I was reading something in this moment, and it's about verse 1, chapter 25. It's interesting that the word used for a dead person is not Adam, it is nefesh.
Oh, interesting.
So that gives you a better picture because it's about what we are talking. Okay, you can destroy the body, but also you can destroy a soul.
Right.
And it's interesting that prior of this portion is talking about karet, which is not a physical like a person that already is dead. No, it's a or kill a person or no, it's not a physical action. It's about a death that is about to cut this person, the connection with the persons, with a community, or with the divinity, or is beyond. Okay, that's why there are many people that is obviously outside are alive, but inside they are dead.
Yes. I know people like that. Honestly, they don't know how to live. They're only living, waiting to die. Yeah, and it's very sad. We need to pray for them and help them. Anyway, I think we'll say goodbye for today, for the rest of the Shabbat. I want everybody to enjoy your Shabbat. Bye, Brian.
A message from Miriam.
Uh-huh.
$4. You don't have to come.
You have the $4?
I got
Because
some.
I have.
Okay, you can talk
someone-
about that later among
Okay.
each other. That's not part of the service. Okay, you can deal with it later. So keep everybody in prayer. Keep Mildred in prayer. And we wish you a wonderful Shabbat and look forward to seeing you again during the week. Are you holding your tertulia this week, Mauricio, or no?
Yes, we will.
You'll have it this week? Okay, good. And
What's Tertulio?
tertulia is it's like the Torah 101. It's their
Oh,
Spanish
I see.
group. It's
Okay.
it's like a verzameling,
Right.
like the gathering, the discussion group.
Okay.
So it's good to see everybody and take care. I'm glad, Yanet, that you're feeling much better. Baruch Hashem.
And Baruch Hashem.
Yeah. So Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you again, God willing.
I'm Sarai.
Yeah.
Sarai,
Oh,
how are you, Sarai?
How are you, Sarai?
Muy
¿Cómo
bien,
está?
gracias. Bien, gracias. Shabbat Shalom. Ay, qué
Shabbat-
guapa es, Janet.
Saludos para Priscila.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye, Peggy. Bye, Miriam. Bye, Baruch. Bye,
bye-bye.
Mario.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, los quiero. Bye-bye.
Bye.